If your twin flame has a wife or girlfriend but still keeps returning to you, what's happening goes far beyond simple cheating or curiosity. This is a deeper, more dangerous dynamic. When a man encounters his twin flame, he doesn't enter romance first, he enters crisis. One part of him recognizes a connection he cannot ignore, while another part panics because this bond threatens the life, image, and control he has built over years. That's why he comes back, draws near, shows intensity, then withdraws, as if fighting something greater than himself. Many women misinterpret this push and pull as a clear choice, when in reality, he may be torn between the stability of his current life and the truth he felt when he encountered you. Today, you'll understand what ignites inside the masculine psyche when he keeps seeking you while committed, and why so many women remain trapped in this pattern for years. This is meant to dismantle the dangerous fantasy that intensity equals destiny fulfilled. It does not. Intensity without direction becomes emotional addiction. Searching without decision creates an endless loop. Contact without responsibility drains energy. Calling this a twin flame connection without discernment risks spiritualizing a situation where your soul is asking for sovereignty, not perpetual waiting. Later, I'll share an energetic approach that makes a man think about you without chasing, humiliating yourself, or fueling chaos. Here's a crucial truth. If he has a wife or girlfriend but continues seeking you, it does not mean you've defeated the other woman, that you are automatically the one, or that the universe has declared your destiny together, and it reveals only that his external life is at odds with his inner reality, a fracture between what he maintains out of habit, fear, comfort, guilt, or image, and what awakens inside him when he enters your energy. That fracture is his responsibility, not your mission. This is where many women lose themselves. They believe understanding his soul means guiding him to the truth. They become translators of his confusion, a source of validation, relief, and acceptance, unknowingly fueling his divided state. As long as he can maintain stability on one side and emotional intensity on the other, the conflict continues. If you remain available in the wrong way, the connection that could have been transformative becomes a compensatory system. Where he draws courage, he hasn't built himself. And the deeper truth is this. A woman impacts a committed man not just by being attractive or unique, but by awakening a part of the feminine within him. He has long suppressed sensitivity, emotional presence, vulnerability, truth, all the qualities he has hidden behind routine, logic, productivity, and social persona. You don't enter his life merely as an external presence. You mirror an inner part of himself he has avoided facing. That's why he cannot behave as if nothing happened. He is drawn not just to you, but to the version of himself that awakens in your presence. He may try to ignore it, rationalize, distract himself, or promise to stop. But something continues to pull him toward you. Because in seeking you, he seeks the part of himself that has started breathing again. Crucially, this does not mean he is making the right choice with you. Many men seek what you awaken in them while still using you as emotional regulation. They come when life feels dry, routine suffocates, or guilt weighs heavily. If you aren't conscious of this, you may mistake it for spiritual connection when it is emotional triangulation. Sometimes he isn't intentionally cruel. Sometimes he is genuinely lost. He may believe that feeling something real for you justifies keeping you near. But deep feeling does not excuse inconsistency. Recognition does not replace responsibility. Seeking you in secrecy, impulse, or longing does not equate to building a bridge between lives. Your soul needs to understand this before your heart builds castles on glowing crumbs. The deepest pain isn't that he has someone else. It's that he has someone else and keeps you in a liminal space between reality and possibility. You cannot claim imagination, yet there's no concrete truth. You exist between signals and silence, magnetism and formlessness, which is exhausting for the feminine. The deep feminine suffers not only from his absence, but from the suspension of meaning. Sensing something powerful yet fragile, unsure if it has direction, courage, or destiny. Time passes, energy drains, self-worth fluctuates, and the body goes into alert mode while the mind analyzes every gesture in silence. Now let's move to a more intelligent level. The real question is not why he seeks you. It's what your energy does with that fact. Do you become captive, chasing or serving as a convenient emotional reserve? Or do you reclaim your energy, reposition your field, and let the truth reveal itself? This is where energetic transmission matters. Many teach it as a trick to control a man, but true influence comes from the shift in your own field, not desperation, obsession, or silent pleading. The most powerful transmission comes from returning to your center, allowing only what is true to find its way to you. Sit alone, breathe, and draw back all the scattered energy, fear, longing, expectation, into yourself. Then internally affirm, I return to you what is yours and reclaim what is mine. If there is truth between us, let it find a clean path. If there is only compensation, let it dissolve. I do not serve chaos. I serve truth. This clears the channel, allowing the connection to operate without confusion. Visualize him as a divided human soul, confused, guilty, masking fear. Instead of begging, unlook internally and say, if what you feel for me is real, it will grow in clarity. If it is only escape, it will lose strength. I do not feed what fragments me. Energy responds to your inner position, not mental images. This practice reorganizes your field and frees you from anxious waiting. If you want more guidance, my ebook 21 Days of Transformation with Carl Jung and Soul Survival Manual provides structured daily exercises to reconnect with your energy, reclaim sovereignty, and navigate intense bonds without losing yourself. When you center yourself, the bond becomes a mirror rather than a rope. And he begins to think of you, not from compulsion, but because the energy between you has changed. He senses presence from wholeness, not need, which destabilizes old patterns. Be warned, his first reaction may not be gentle. He may act intensely, reach out, or attempt to regain access. Many women misinterpret this as the work being complete. It isn't. Ask yourself, does he come with truth or urgency, clarity or confusion? A man can think of you all day, yet still be incapable of taking responsibility. You were not made to host intense thoughts without action, nor to accept emotional returns from someone who cannot stand behind them. Now you understand why he comes and goes. Intensity touches deeply, opening possibilities he fears to fully embrace. He retreats to familiar structures, but your imprint remains. You became contrast, a threshold he cannot erase. And the reason this affects you so deeply is because you recognize the shift too. When two people meet at that archetypal level, neither leaves unchanged. One can grow from it, the other may oscillate. You must decide. Will this story elevate you or consume you? A common mistake among spiritually sensitive women is thinking empathy means infinite patience with inconsistency. It doesn't. Intuition is not permission for self-abandonment. You can recognize the masculine wound while refusing to house his division. You can feel the depth of the connection while remembering real love does not depend on secrecy, triangles, or consequences-free closeness. This clarity changes everything. When a woman stops confusing spirituality with emotional passivity, she directs her own field. The masculine senses it immediately. He notices when you no longer beg, compete, or fear losing him. He senses when your energy claims wholeness rather than feeding chaos. And often, what makes him think about you is not just what happened, but what never fully happened. The human mind fixates on what remains unfinished, on what began but never resolved, on what touched the center of experience and was then forbidden, on what was seen but never lived, on doors opened yet never crossed. This is why committed men sometimes seem obsessed with women with whom they never shared a full story. The intensity of the connection, combined with its impossibility, creates a suspended field the psyche cannot process. Energy circulates endlessly. The body remembers. Imagination amplifies. Desire becomes spiritualized. Fear rationalizes. Longing merges with fantasy. And the woman, sensing this persistent return, may think that one more push could make it real. Yet, most of the time, what is missing is not effort, but psychic structure, moral courage, coherence of soul, and the ability to give up comfort for what is true. No woman can build that for a man. The right approach is not pushing him toward a decision. It is stepping out of the space where his indecision feeds on your presence. Often, when you truly step back, he reappears. This can be confusing, because you may interpret his return as proof of feeling. Yes, he often feels something, but his return alone does not prove maturity. Many men come back simply because your distance disrupts the unconscious circuit where you were always available. When you stop radiating anxious presence, his ego, his longing, his fear, all react. But not every reaction leads to transformation. A wise woman observes the quality of his return. Does he come back clearer or more confused, more decided or more needy, more honest or more seductive? Some men return to love, and others return merely to regulate their withdrawal from your energy. If you cannot distinguish this, you risk interpreting every contact as destiny, when often life is simply showing that the bond exists without direction. Deep down, part of you wants to believe that his search proves you are the love of his life, and that everything will work out. That desire is comforting, but what you need is mastery, not comfort. If he seeks you while he has a wife or girlfriend, it shows that your connection awakens something unresolved in him. You touch a layer that his official life cannot integrate. Your presence functions as mirror, trigger, memory, temptation, truth, and threat. It shows that he is not whole where he is, but it does not guarantee he will be whole with you. A spiritually mature woman recognizes the split, but does not rush ahead to write the ending. She feels the connection, but does not hand over her energy throne until real life demonstrates real action. She protects herself not by denying the bond, but by refusing to let it become a license for endless waiting. Something deeper is at play. When a divided man keeps coming to you, he activates not only hope, but also the wound of finally being chosen by someone who previously withheld full choice. This blends love with repair, connection with validation, and destiny with the fantasy that overcoming every obstacle would confirm your worth. That mix is addictive. You begin desiring not only the man, but the ending that will justify the wait. Many women attach themselves more to the meaning his choice would represent than to the man himself. Understanding this is half your liberation. You do not need to demonize the bond. You need to separate love from wounds seeking validation. Often, a man with someone else is trying to live two incompatible needs at once. Stability and safety on one side, intensity and soul recognition on the other. Having not integrated these within himself, he projects them outside, keeping one life in place while coming to you to feel the other. This creates contradictory behavior. He wants but does not stand behind it, feels but does not organize, seeks but does not claim. He shows warmth, then retreats. Vulnerability appears, then hides. He opens the soul and returns to persona. A pattern reveals more than a single moment. Intense moments are fleeting. Patterns reveal capacity. As Jung said, what is not made conscious returns as fate. Until he faces his internal division, he will repeat the same cycle. Seeking intensity outside, maintaining structure inside, calling it romantic confusion. He will oscillate, pulling, feeling guilt, emptiness, and longing again. The great work is not discovering what he feels, but what you still accept in yourself, living between invisible promise and insufficient reality. Your liberation depends not on whether he leaves his partner, but on refusing to be an extension of his unconsciousness. The right energetic transmission does not create thought through anxiety. It creates contrast in frequency. Previously, you may have emitted the vibration of waiting, analyzing, dreaming, suffering, calling. Now, emit the vibration of a woman who feels, knows, and honors herself, without disorganizing to fit another's conflict. Every day, interrupt impulses to imagine future scenes with him. Instead, imagine yourself whole, walking your life, inhabiting your body, returning to projects, reclaiming power, enjoying existence without needing a text or confirmation. Let your nervous system learn that your peace does not depend on his contact. Hunger never creates true magnetism. The highest magnetism comes when a woman becomes the source of her own energy. Then, thinking of him does not trap. It radiates. It does not demand. It allows. It calls for truth. Desire is not the problem. Desire from self-abandonment is. Desire from your center preserves wholeness. Desire from lack fractures you. Men sense this difference. When desire invites, they feel magnetism. When desire seeks salvation, they feel weight. The question is never whether he thinks of you, but what your energy creates in him. Pressure or truth, demand or presence, dependence or mystery, desperation or wholeness. A committed man who keeps seeking you is drawn not only to your light, but to the part of himself that emerges when you do not give him access cheaply. If you are too available, the transformative depth shrinks. You become a shelter for his unresolved self. Step back without hostility. Respond without surrendering. Feel without selling. Take a stand without drama. He then faces a rare challenge. A woman who affects him but does not orbit him. This forces him to confront whether he will earn access to her energy or remain divided. As long as you offer yourself completely to a divided man, he remains divided. When you offer truth but remove automatic availability, the connection becomes a mirror for his conscience. Essence emerges stronger than any attempt to force memory. Essence leaves a mark. When he reappears, do not pour out all your withheld emotion. Receive information, observe consistency, allow time to reveal truth. His return may not indicate transformation. It may be a return to old patterns. Stand by your energetic position calmly. Do not feed confusion. Some men leave, others mature because they realize half-truths no longer work. If he leaves, it is not a failure. It is the revelation of truth. What bound him to you relied on your disorganized availability. He wanted sensation, not transformation. Your work did not lose a love. It removed a distortion. The highest goal was never making him think of you. It was allowing only what aligns with your truth to remain. Many women begin seeking his attention and realize the true gift is liberation from the power of his thoughts. Anxiety softens. The body relaxes. True magnetism and sovereignty emerge. Your light returns. Your energy field opens again. Ironically, that is exactly when you become far more unforgettable. There's one key point I cannot leave out because it explains why this dynamic sometimes feels almost otherworldly. When a bond is deep, connection doesn't depend solely on messages. There are days when you feel it intuitively, moments when he enters your thoughts without reason, nights when he appears in your dreams and then shows up the next day. This kind of connection operates beyond the ordinary. But here lies a potential danger. A sensitive woman can interpret these signals as confirmation for any story she wants to believe. She can turn perception into justification for remaining stuck. Spiritual maturity asks for the opposite. It asks you to use these signals not to deceive yourself, but to take responsibility for your own energy. If you dream, observe the dream, but don't surrender your life to it. If he appears when you think about him, notice it, but don't treat it as a promise. If the bond is strong, honor it. But honor is not blind obedience. Honoring means treating the sacred with discernment. And discernment here means recognizing that even the most mysterious bonds must translate into a livable truth if they are to bring peace. Let me clarify further. When he has someone else and still seeks you, it shows your presence became a living reminder of something his current life cannot contain. His life structure cannot erase the recognition that occurred between you. He is trying to balance two inner realities without yet having the courage to integrate them into a clean choice. You became both symbol and experience. A symbol of what he lost within himself, an experience of what he feels when he is awake. The energy between you remains active because the lesson is unfinished. But the lesson is not necessarily to wait for him. Often, the lesson is for you to become so whole that only truth survives between you, which changes how you move forward. That is why I don't want you to leave this video carrying only hope. I want you to carry power. Hope without power becomes waiting. Power without hope becomes hardness. The right place is hope with sovereignty. It's about recognizing the depth of what you felt and understanding why he keeps seeking you. Seeing the profound reality of the bond, but refusing to allow it to weaken you. Use that depth to reposition yourself. When you do, everything shifts. The way he feels you changes. The way you feel him changes. Even the rhythm of life shifts. You are no longer energetically asking him to choose you. You are saying you have chosen truth, and only truth may pass into your space. That is the frequency that reorganizes destinies. It separates obsession from a real bond. It creates respect, longing, and reverence, not scattered desire. You may fear that if you stop feeding the connection as you did before, he will disappear. But what is real does not need your anxiety to exist. What is real may require time, but not emotional manipulation. What cannot survive silence, distance, or clarity was feeding more on your energy than on the bond itself. So when you reclaim your energy and something breaks, be grateful. It only reveals what had no foundation. And if he moves with greater truth, be grateful. Then you know this is not just mirrored fantasy. Perhaps you remember moments, the late-night messages, his inability to resist reaching out, the contradictions of feeling at peace with you but never moving forward. These experiences leave marks. But today, I want you to read them differently. Not as proof you must keep insisting, beast, but as proof you must take your position. Instead of thinking, he seeks me because he can't live without me, think, he seeks me because a truth inside him was awakened. It must either mature or dissolve. Instead of asking how to make him choose quickly, I ask, how do I allow only a real choice to reach me? That is emotional sophistication. That is spiritual power. That is stepping into the role of the woman who understands the field. When you feel tempted to see his partner as the obstacle, return to what is essential. The true barrier is his unconsciousness and any wound within you that still feeds on suspension. Even if his relationship ended tomorrow, a healthy union would not be guaranteed if he remains divided. Focus on internal truth, not destroying yourself in the process. Every time you reclaim your energy, breathe, re-enter yourself, and release control, you strengthen your ability to sustain reality. Reality always wins. If he can pass through his inner fire and arrive clean, the path will open. If not, your clarity saves you from years of erosion. Imagine a thread of light connecting you. For too long, it may have been pulled by anxiety, fantasy, and fear, causing pain. Today, release the tension. The thread may still exist if it is meant to. Without cutting you, without dragging you, without demanding vigilance, allow it to reveal its true nature. If it is real, it survives silence, dignity, distance, and clarity. If it is only a thread of compensation, it dissolves once it stops being fueled by your anxiety. This is the noblest test and the most powerful way to make a man think of you correctly. His thoughts arise not from your effort, but from encountering a woman who does not negotiate her soul to maintain a bond. He thinks deeply when marked in a place everyday life cannot reach. You likely marked him, but whether that mark remains depends on what you do now. And if you turn that mark into pursuit, dependence, or competition, it loses power. If you turn it into posture, it deepens. The woman who understands this changes how she communicates. She responds thoughtfully. She does not disappear to punish, show off, or play games. She stops serving what diminishes her. Manipulation revolves around the man. Sovereignty revolves around truth. One produces reaction, the other allows revelation. Revelation is always stronger. This explains why everything sometimes seemed ready but stalled. The field was strong, but his inner structure could not sustain it. He obeyed fear, while you felt the soul. Recognizing this is liberating. You are no longer decoding invisible messages constantly. He seeks you because he feels something. But what he does with it defines the value of the story. And it's not his words or returns, it's his capacity to align feeling, truth, and action. You may fear appearing cold if you become firm. You won't. Firmness does not kill love. It saves it from distortion. You can be deeply loving while staying clear. You can wish him truth while refusing to be a waiting room for indecision. You can feel compassion and still refuse to live in emotional undergrounds. This is maturity, and it awakens him in ways availability never could. The question shifts from, why does he seek me, to, what will I do with it? Will you feed fantasy or refine truth? Will you fragment or embrace sovereignty? Will you call every return destiny or observe whether a real man is behind the impulse? Peace comes from aligning what he feels with what he delivers, not the frequency of his thoughts. And after a woman withdraws and does this work, a man often shows deeper longing, not because he previously ignored her, but because he now senses the real risk of loss. Thoughts become confrontation, not luxury. But confrontation is not conclusion. A man may face it and still need time. Your practice cannot depend on immediate results. Do it because it is true. Do it because your energy answers to your soul, not the chaos of the bond. This is how you become magnetic to everything that belongs on your level, including the most truthful version of him. Yes, he may feel something. Yes, he may think of you. Yes, you may have awakened a truth in him. But the final chapter is written not by feeling, but by the courage to make that feeling conscious, clean, and consequential. Until then, do not beg for an ending. That become impossible to fit into any place that is not true. The woman who does this changes the destiny of the bond, either toward union or closure, both preferable to suspension. Stop trying to enter his mind. Leave the mental prison the story built around you. Gather your threads. Clear your energy. Stop feeding fantasies, silent chasing, and imagined conversations. Return to your body, your heart, your purpose, your life, your presence. When you practice at night, send a position, not a request. If it's real, it will find its path. If not, it loses power. Do it calmly, without anger, revenge, or pretense. The most unforgettable woman does not run to be remembered. She becomes so true that remembering her awakens consciousness. If a man awakens to consciousness thinking of you, he never thinks the same way again. Deep down, you may have broken his anesthesia. He may have broken your innocence. You awakened a deeper layer in him, and now he calls you to a higher layer of yourself. Accept that call, and you leave the story greater. Union or not, the crossing is not wasted. You learn to love without begging, feel without losing yourself, magnetize without chasing, and honor the invisible without abandoning the visible. This is far greater than a message. You become the woman whose presence reorganizes the field and whose absence reveals truth. If he returns, let it be clean. If he thinks of you, let it be with awareness. If he seeks you, let him find a woman who is whole, peaceful, luminous, and unwilling to participate in emotional triangles. From today, do not confuse pursuit with choice, desire with readiness, or connection with automatic destiny. He seeks you because something inside him awakened and cannot integrate into his current life. Your path is not to solve his conflict. It is to be faithful to your own truth so only clean love survives. If this message speaks to your story, comment. I do not feed confusion. I choose truth. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos on soul, love, energy, and symbolic psychology. For the ebook mentioned, check the pinned comment. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.